And here we go. This is going to be somewhat of an emergency broadcast of the JJ Liberman Goon Hour. It's the JJ Liberman GoonCast. That's a problem. When the name keeps on changing, I'll forget the name. But here we are. This is Tuesday, February 25th. And I usually record these on the Thursday, but we had an incident happen this weekend doing comedy. Now, I am not a person who, one, ever cares about free speech being under attack, democracy being under attack. I don't care. I just want to pay rent. I've never ever said, ooh, the left is too soft. If left up to me, you can make a case for the way I do comedy. I'd rather have Kamala as the president because culture swings left to right based off who's in office. And my personal opinion, I think we're going hard left soon. I think it's cool to say certain words. Not like me. I'm just saying society thinks it's cool. It's in. Certain words are the R word's in, the F word's in. I don't want to say it just because we'll get flagged. We are on YouTube, and they flag you when you say certain words with the N word for sure. Flagged. R word flagged. F word flagged. And you know, I was doing stand-up for the last 13 years, and I've always had kind of pushback towards my comedy. And, you know, there'd be times where I was like trying to be a edgelord. And then mostly now I'm not even thinking about that. I'm just like, oh, this is funny. Let's see where it goes. Do this. So with that being said, I'm doing what I'm doing. I've been touring comedy clubs, and not to like make this about comedy, but this is a situation that happened. But I've been touring comedy clubs for the last few years all over North America, and then a situation happened on Friday night that had never, ever happened to me before, where, not in the last 4 years, where we're in Madison, Wisconsin. I go with another fellow comedian, and I won't say the comedy club's name. The Thursday night I do the show, and Madison is a college town. It's an amazing city. Cold as fuck. There were people who were wearing shorts, and it was like -5 degrees, like below freezing, much below freezing. I don't know how the calculator works, but when you're walking outside, like, I don't know how to tell you how cold it is, but every step I took, I was like, oh, fuck, this is brutal. Fuck, God, ish. You know, so it's beyond cold, and there are college kids walking around in shorts. Insane people. So as left as you could say people are, as left as a city you could say these are, yeah, I mean, they are tough kids. And I was even thinking, I was telling one of my buddies who I was there with, man, if I were to fuck someone, I'd rather fuck someone from Madison, Wisconsin, walking around in like a little hot short skirt in the cold. They have like a toughness to them. You know, you could probably get your hand around the neck and a little spit in the mouth. But yeah, so, you know, despite people always saying like this city's more left, you know, they would always say that with D.C. D.C. is a lot more conservative because it's a political city. And I'm like, this is one of the best comedy cities in the world. I just think it's all bullshit. It's all like fodder. It's all fodder for the argument. But yeah, I found it to be an amazing city, an amazing time. But then I get there the Thursday night, and it was a very young crowd. And I guess because college kids can get in for $10, the show was tougher. Mind you, I'd been traveling all day. I was exhausted. I took multiple flights to get there. I woke up at 4 a.m. And yeah, that was the case. So show was a little tough. I could see that they were tighter of a crowd. But again, it's Thursday night. Not as many people are drunk. Then Friday night happens. I go on, having the time of my life in 24 hours, going walking around state capitol, making videos, making content, go on. And there was a lull in my set, and I get up and it ended great. And I get up to the green room, and then this woman comes in high heels, and she goes, hey, I'm going to give you 10 minutes. And when she said that, I thought she was like, oh, I'm going to give you 10 minutes. Order some food. But I was like, no, I'm going to give you 10 minutes. you're not going to do your full set next. Usually I do 20 minutes. She's like, you're not going to do your full set next show. Your material is like unacceptable. And she was let me just say this in the simplest words, a cunt. Just some 30-year-old. She's kind of hot, so it is kind of like sexy. There was something sexy about it where she's like, you can't do your comedy. But that was the basis of the conversation. Is like, you can't do your act. She doesn't speak to the headliner about it, whose show it's about. She's the owner of the comedy club. Doesn't introduce me. Doesn't introduce herself. Just an absolute cunt. Just like everything about oh, women aren't like this when they're in power. And you're like, no, you're just exactly the stereotype that you didn't want to like be portrayed as. And she's like, your jokes are so inappropriate for Madison. Let me ask you this question. What the fuck is up with Madison? Where, like, I get it if we're in communist China. Like, I get if Xi Jinping, is that his name?
Yep.
Is it Xi Jinping?
Yeah, Xi Jinping.
Yeah, I get it if Xi Jinping is in the crowd, or we're in, like, Abu Dhabi, and they're like, there's a prince here. This is inappropriate conversation for the prince right now. I get that. But this is, like, just some city, and I'll be honest with you, as cool as the city is, no place I would ever want to fucking live. Like, I'm not like living there. It's in and out 2 days. It's got some great protein shake places, gyms, a lot of hot people in their 20s. Great. This is fantastic. I'm excited. You know, hopefully I was going to get my dick sucked in this town, or I could fuck someone, like someone who was like, you know, they don't want to. Why would someone who's hot and 22 want to fuck another hot and 22-year-old when they could sleep with a 44-year-old balding guy they've never heard of? So that was in my mind. But so I thought it was going to be like this amazing trip. And the first day was amazing, right? But then this cunt comes up to the green room. And again, I'm not a free speech advocate. Like, I don't care. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's not my thing. I'm not on the front line for this. But also, you just have no place. I know you own the comedy club, but this isn't a show that you booked, you know, and this is ridiculous. And I mean, it's not like I can't be the worst act in America. I mean, they've had it's one of the biggest clubs in America. They've had everybody. And she's like, your jokes. And I'll tell you what the truth is. So I was doing like a lot of women's stuff because that's what comedians do when they're men. They talk about women. And I think I was doing one joke about fat upper pussy areas. And I could see a couple chicks in the crowd who were not happy with the FUPA material. They were the ones with the guns. Thor, stop licking your foot. They were the ones with the guns. But they're like, it's not a personal. I make fun. How come I can make fun of my balding, greasy Jew head for literally 5 minutes? And the whole point is so I can make fun of your fat upper pussy area. And that's like unacceptable. And I think I did a couple other things. And at one time there was a lull in the set for about 4 or 5 minutes. And I addressed the lull because there was like 10 people out of the 200 that were loving it. Maybe more than that, maybe 15. And I addressed it, and the room erupted, and then it ended. The next 5-6 minutes were fine. I was getting some good pops. But it was crazy that this woman took such offense, and she's like, the exact words, Madison's not ready. Not ready for what? I don't understand. And again, I'm not one of these people that complain about fucking censorship in comedy. I don't care. In fact, I hope you come to a comedy club and you were putting on makeup and you're like, I'm going to have a great time. And then you come and then you hate it so much that makes you upset. I hope that happens to you. I really do. That's crazy. I saw The Last of the Mohicans in the theater. It sucked. I love Kevin Costner. He makes all these great baseball movies. I saw it in theater. I walked out after 15 minutes. I didn't say nothing to nobody until this point. That's fucking 30 years later. 30 years later, I'm making my complaint about Last of Mohicans. It was brutal. I didn't understand Native American culture, and at the time I called them Indians. I didn't understand it, so I didn't understand this movie. It was stupid to me. Maybe I watch it today and it's incredible, but at the time I was like, I don't like it. But I didn't complain to anyone. I didn't cry about it. So I assume when I was on stage talking about bad, I said, if you have bad, I'm sure you have bad opinions. I have bad opinions, and I'm sure your bad opinions are like women are CEOs. And I guess if you're a female who is a CEO of a comedy club and some guy who you're paying is going up there and saying, women who are CEOs suck. It was all in joking manner. I'm sure that was like the last straw. But to like protect us, to tell me a city's not ready for, I'm not having a Kramer moment on stage. Look, if I have a Kramer moment on stage and someone comes up to me and like, yeah, it's a little distasteful, a racist tirade. I get that. But I wasn't doing anything. I was doing like, what's crazy, an act I did the night before, the week before in Phoenix, the week before in Vegas, and it was fine. I did it at the Mothership a few days before that, and it was great. I was on a show with Joe Rogan, which was so cool. He didn't see me, by the way. But yeah, I've never thought, like, I understand some people. I'm a unlikable person. I'm an unlikable comic. I've lived in many places. I have some friends, and I have a lot of not friends, and a lot of not friends from people I've met, and we've hung out, and they're just not my friends. But to say, like, I thought it was hilarious. And she told me as she's leaving the green room, she's like, you're only doing 10 minutes the next show, and change your jokes, change your act. So I respected her wish of only doing 10 minutes. But I did not respect her wish of changing my jokes. In fact, I brought everything out that I could think of that I could fit in 10 minutes. I said retard. I said faggot. I said everything I could think of. And then I mocked the crowd for laughing. I said this to Josh Francis. I said, did you see this? Did you see how, when a comic's up there going, oh, I'm too dangerous for you? Like,
yeah.
I did that in like a very joking manner because to her, who I assume was watching.
Yeah. Because you're having a good set.
Oh, it was murdering, which I never talk about. I admit the Thursday show I stunk. The first show I was like good at parts and had but this show was like, I listened to the tapes. I listened to everything. And as they're like clapping and cheering and laughing, I said, do not peddle this behavior. That was like, and I wasn't looking at them. I was looking right. I don't know if she even watched it. I said, do not peddle this behavior. And then when I was dropping the F-bomb, and I guess I yelled it out, but I don't want to keep on this yelling. But I said, do not laugh at this. You're supposed to be left, Madison. And like, if you had never seen me do comedy, you would think like I was doing that in my act. I would never say that. It's like eye roll or cringe to me. But I was only saying that because of the moment that we were in. And then I got off stage after they lit me after 10 minutes, and I went to the guy in the sound booth. I said, cut me a fucking check. I'm out of here. Make sure you pay me for the host in the middle spot yesterday. And cut my check, and I booked a flight a day early. And then I texted my buddy who I was with when I was at the airport on this Saturday and said, hey, I'm not going to be there tonight. I just don't want to deal with it. I didn't want to make a situation of it. Because at the end of the day, after so many years, I don't give a shit. You don't want me to perform comedy in your comedy club? You have every right. Like that's the thing I have. Like, when people don't want you to perform, like they don't like your comedy, and that's kind of the thing I think people miss is like they have the right to open their own business and not have me at their venue. I'm fine with that. But when someone else is headlining it and they bring their own, like, you really have no say in this. But I just left. I didn't want to be there. I'd rather take a $500 loss, sell dick pics on OnlyFans, which I did to pay for the flight, and then get home a day early, slept fine, did a spot that night, felt comfortable. It was. I'm totally fine with that. And I didn't want to, like, make a whole ordeal about it, go after the comedy club. It's unnecessary. Just like, I don't want to be that guy who's like shitting on comedy clubs because, again, I'd rather this comedy club in business. Sure, I'd rather comedy happening than not happening. That's how I think of this. Anyways, I don't know how long we're at.
I was just about to light you for the 15.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't really have anything else to say on that. I don't know. I don't know. You want to interject from the story? Because you never heard the story, did you?
No, I mean, I'd heard like bits and pieces of it from like running into you and then like our other buddy. But so did you ever
he talk to you about this? Did you speak to Francis?
No. I was talking to
Spencer.
Spencer,
Yeah.
Well, did you ever, the headliner, did he know why you left, or did you just leave?
No. He didn't. Again, this is a good friend who I was there with, and there is a thing like you respect someone so much that you don't also want. You know what I'm saying? Like,
to put your problems on.
Yeah, you don't want to put their problems on them, and even though it was something that. So, like, here's the thing. I didn't want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to do that. As a good friend, we have a lot of business going on. We've done a lot of amazing things, and we have a lot of things coming up in the future. And I didn't even address it to him because I just didn't want to, because I know how I would react, and it would not be good. Like if someone did that to someone who opened for me, like when I told him when I was already boarding a plane the next day, and I said, "Hey, I'm not going to be there tonight." He kind of caught wind of what happened, but not to the full extent. We never discussed it because I went home right after the set.
Yeah.
So it was just a thing I made my mind up. You sometimes make your mind up, and that's it. But I'll tell you that, like, and in fear that he might react and it could hurt him. I don't know. I mean, he's so much more professional than me, but I could just imagine how I would have handled this situation. I would have not, like, I would have been a child. But there was a moment when she told me, "I'm going to give you 10 minutes." I just looked her in the eyes. I was like about to say something, and I just didn't. It was like, again, I bitch and moan so much about so many things, but there's something that I look at. This is kind of like, not a badge of honor, but like, it's crazy that you're at a comedy club and you're just doing your act that, again, you do it every week. The same kind of, it's like, no, this is not comedy. We cannot have this in Madison. And I was kind of shocked. Again, I don't think of this as a badge of honor because this is not my goal. My goal is to make, like, my goal actually is, people come out, spend their money, have a good time, say some crazy stuff, but attack everything. That is kind of the fun. Like I was saying to, I was with Francis today. We're out. It's like he's like saying something about you. I said, no, I'm Buddhist. I'm not Jewish because there's too many stereotypical Jews that are embarrassing. I don't know any Buddhists who are embarrassed. Like, name an embarrassing Buddhist. What I'm saying? Like, it's the same in every religion, right? You like, for some religions they have hijackers. I won't say the religion and the threat of like, kind of like drawing their guy too. I won't say that. But like Christians, they have, I don't know, they have somebody, I don't know, someone diddled somebody. And Jews have, I mean, it's kind of hard when, a whole country is bombing another country and everyone hates that country. I'm like, yeah, I'm one of them. No, you fuck, So I chose a few years ago Buddhism. I chose it because because there's nobody that's embarrassing. I can't think of it. Could you? Even
No.
Buddha.
I mean, he was a little fat.
Yeah, but nobody's going to look at him and like, you can't be embarrassed about that.
No.
So yeah, so I think I made the right choice. It makes the most sense. Everything I had to learn's in English. Just sit and meditate makes you better. I actually don't know flaws. So do that, or then people just, I've never seen a guy who's an open Buddhist and we'll go end off this. And there's like hate towards that person. Maybe in like, you can make the argument, I think in India or China, the Buddhists had to leave to go to another. That's the thing, right? They had to leave to go to another place. Sure, but not on the internet. Guys would just say in my Instagram reels, Jewish deviant behavior. Let me tell you this about Jewish deviant behavior. Let me tell you this about Jewish deviant behavior. I have seeded and breeded many non-Jews. I have filled them up with so much cum. So it's not a religious thing. So, anyways, but I am more Buddhist than anything. But other than that, I think that's really it, unless you want to add anything.
No.
Okay. I don't know. I felt maybe this would be more entertaining.
I think it is. I think like anyone, it's a good story.
Yeah. Again, and let me just say this one thing, and this is the outro. I find it hilarious more than anything. I was not upset. I don't like fuck this place because, again, I'd rather a comedy club, even if they're going to censor what I do, I'd rather the marketplace be, because you'd rather the people who want censored comedy going to places opposed to those people coming to like the Comedy Cellar, the Mothership, then complaining. They're like, these people are abhorrent. Mm-hmm. You'd rather that. And this place isn't that place. That's what blows my mind. It's one of the best clubs in the country. I don't know. Maybe she had an off night, and I'm very empathetic towards people like that. So I didn't make a big deal. I just thought it would be a funny story. So anyways, this is JJ Lieberman's GoonCast. You want to go follow the genre. I don't know if anyone's following you. Nobody's following me.
Go follow the Instagram.
Okay. Other than that, thanks, and we'll see you guys next week.